Welcome everyone. We are going to be talking about stress and anxiety, something none of us are really familiar with, right? We all have such blessed. Right. So funny. But yes, we are going to talk, especially if you're in the United States, there is so much collective stress going on right now with the election. It's just almost unbearable. In fact, I've been having electronic problems constantly this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, all of this stress is affecting the electronics. It affects everyone. And what I really love is that the animals show us. Oh, Dawn says hello. Really quickly, Melissa says hello all. Hey, use the chat too. So if you have a question, you can't be on screen or you can't unmute, just be sure to use the chat. And I'm just going to change my view here. But right now, the animals show us that the best way to be is to be in that energy without stress. But it's so hard not to be stressed right now with the things going on in the world, whether or not, if you're not in the United States, there's wars that are happening. There are a lot of things that are causing a lot of distress. Animals are not being treated well, all of these things. And when we're looking at our world, if you really stop and you focus on all of the bad stuff that's happening, you can literally lose your mind. You can go crazy. So one thing I do, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. My partner, Michael, watches the news. So I have to hear it sometimes. Then I get all irritated and I start yelling at the TV, like, that is so not true, whatever that is. And I noticed that, okay, I'm losing it, right? And I have to be really careful. I have to be mindful. My animals are here with me. My dogs are here with me. They can't go anywhere. They can't escape me. They can't leave the house. So I have to be really mindful about that. So what I do is, because I've had people say, well, you have to watch the news because you have to stay informed. You have to be, you have to know what's going on in the world. And I totally agree. I have a subscription to New York Times because I like to play the games. And what I do is I will do just like headline review. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm caught up. I know exactly what's going on. I don't need to know anything more. Especially with the election, it's just impossible to watch TV because everyone has a commercial. Everyone is talking about how they're the best, they're the best. And what I do is I just tune it out, vote, do your thing, but we don't have to get sucked in to why my candidate is the best, why this is happening, because at the end of the day, we can't really change what's going to happen. We can only do what we can do. We can't change it. So we have to learn how to let this go. We have to learn how to just be like, you know what? I'm not going to let that affect me, because it's like being in a room with a bunch of people arguing. Well, how is that going to make you feel? You're not going to feel good inside. And it's the same thing with the world. If you allow yourself to be sucked in to the anger, to the angst, to the worry, then that's going to affect you. It's going to consume you too. And what happens when anger, resentment, worry, frustration consume you, your energy is that way. And your energy is going like this, and it's going out, and it's affecting not only you, but it's affecting your family. It's affecting the animals. It's affecting your environment. Because I go back to care. And when we meditate at care, how everything gets quiet. Everybody, like even the neighbors, we have no control over the neighbors. The wild animals, the wild birds, the snakes, everybody gets calm. Everybody gets quiet because the energy is, what is the word? Not addictive. The energy compounds, right? Like, so we're feeling peaceful, our energy starts going out, and then we're affecting other people, the environment, nature, everything starts to connect with us. And now we have this huge bubble of just peace and love. And that's what you have the power to do. So if you have animals at home, you can just sit, meditate, even meditation of, all is well, just saying that as a mantra. Or if you want to listen to peaceful meditative music. So for me, when I was first learning Animal Reiki, I had a really hard time. I have like ADD and had a really hard time um, focusing and quieting my mind. So what I did was I would play this certain type of meditation music. I think it was Riley Lee is who I would listen to because I love Riley Lee. Riley Lee is a Japanese man, I think, or maybe he's Chinese, but he does this really beautiful meditative music. And I think that he has one, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. It's something, the Buddha. If you're interested, I can look it up. But anyway, so I would listen to Riley Lee's music. And every time I would put it on, I would go into my meditative space as much as I could. Sometimes it was just repeating the precepts, right? So if you know the Let Animals Lead method, or you know any method of Reiki, you know the precepts, you can just say the precepts. But having that meditative music on would help me feel calmer. And so pretty soon what would happen is I would turn the music on and immediately my body would go, it would just be immediately relaxed. And so I started using the music of Riley Lee at that time. I use different music now, but at that time, I used Riley Lee's music to just instantly bring calm. And it was funny because even when let me, Elaine, I'll look it up for you. So even when I was just doing it for me, I'd turn the music on and my dogs would just be, whoop, they would like lay down, go instantly to sleep because the energy that we're creating, right? Immediately my body, it's like Pavlov's response. Immediately we hear the music, boom, we are down. We are just into that. So it's a really easy way if you want to bring peace to your home, to your family, you can do it. And so I'm going to look it up really fast because he's in my library. I hate that. Here we go. Let's see. Artists. Sorry, I'm like old people. So here we go. Riley Lee. There he is. The albums. So there's one called Buddha's Dream, and his name is Riley, Riley Lee. And it's really beautiful. And he has music for Zen meditation. And then he also has shakuhachi water. It's SHAKUHACHI water. That's an old one. That's like one of the first ones I was using. But well, I guess Buddha's Dream was the first one because that one's 1984. But anyway, Riley Lee makes some really beautiful. It's instrumental. It's really calming. But you can just on Spotify or anywhere Google meditation music. And a lot of times they bring up some music. And my advice is just use the same song over and over and over again. Because when you're in that energy of stress, right? When you're feeling really overwhelmed and really stressed out, it's very hard to go, oh, well, you should just meditate. Just focus on your breath. That's how we do it, right? And it's like, no. I'm sorry. That does not work for me. If I'm super stressed out, I can do my breath. And I love the long breathing. So I'm kind of going out of order here, but I just like doing the one breath where you're breathing in through your nose, expanding your belly, and then on the out breath, breathing out your mouth and making sure your out breath is just a little bit longer than your in breath. So you could go in breath for 8 counts, hold for a minute, and then out breath you're going to do for 10 counts or whatever that is. Maybe you only do it for 4 counts. You do it out breath for 6 counts. But when you're really stressed out, I'm sorry, breathing, sometimes you're like hyperventilating breathing. It's like, okay. And it's not really calming. So what we can do is we can just add music, and that brings instant peace. And that's a really good feeling. And once you start to feel peaceful, now you can do something like affirmations or mantras. So what is my favorite, my go-to? Actually, and I can't remember Kathy's last name, but I had a student, Kathy, and this was about 4 years ago. And we were teaching the All Is Well mantra, which is what we teach in the Let Animals Lead method. And she added, you are safe, you are loved, all is well, which was what I use now all the time. And it's what I teach. You are safe, you are loved, all is well. So what I do for myself is I am safe, I am loved, all is well. Whether or not you are loved by another person, you are loved by animals. You are loved by nature. You are loved by the universe. You are loved by God. Whatever your belief is, you are loved. It is a true statement. So it's really easy once we get a little bit calmer through maybe music or maybe even breath, if you can, if you're not really stressed out, then to just remind yourself, I am loved. I am safe. All is well. Because in this moment, that's all we're talking about. All is well. And if we can keep doing that, then we can start healing our own anxiety, but also the anxiety of fear of those around us. So, I mean, when I'm really stressed out, and my partner, Michael, when he's calm, it helps me to be calm. So if I say, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about this, he'll go, no, it's fine. It's fine. We got this. It's going to be fine. It makes me feel so much better. And that's the power that we have to bring to other people. If they're getting really stressed out about anything that's happening in the world, you can say, yeah, empathize, always empathize. And then say, but you know what? Right now, all is okay. Everything is okay. You are okay. And you can say all is well. You can give them the all is well mantra, but your energy can bring peace. And even if at first the person's like, oh my gosh, that's not true, blah, 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 just you being calm, you focusing on that calm energy creates calmness within them. And I've seen this I like to use care because one, I go there a lot, but also because it's wild animals. So even in a dog shelter, if you're sitting with one dog and you start to meditate, pretty soon all the other dogs start to quiet down, even in a really large shelter. If you're with cats and the cats are really like they're to themselves and you're sitting like, let's say in a cat room, and you start to meditate, the cats start to come forward, or they start to like get up on perches and really relax and hang out. Your energy has the power to affect everybody in a good way and in a bad way. So we have to remember that when we're talking about our own stress and anxiety. So Mary Ellen said, yes, tech issues. Okay, Discover Card failed to send the monthly statement. When I inquired, they said they had tech issues and no way could they send the October statements. They'll be rolled into November. Not sure why they didn't notify their customers. This is Discover. Never had this in 20 years. Elections, just vote and be done with it. Yes. So, everyone, we have to remember the collective energy. The United States is huge. And we have a very, very once in a lifetime contentious election going on. No matter what side you're on, it's a big deal. And the energy of that is affecting everything. I don't know if you've noticed there's been more car wrecks. There's been more fights. It's just like everybody is on edge and they're distracted and they're tense. Just last week, or I don't know if I think it was last week when I sent out the recap, there were 2 wrecks in front of our house at the intersection. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? It was just like, boom, boom, one after the other. And you're thinking, okay, people, we've got to calm down. We've got to slow down. We have to start finding ways that are very simple that we can bring peace, because our peace affects everyone. So we can do, like I said, you can get music. You can, when you're nice and calm, start doing your affirmations, and you can choose any affirmation. You don't have to use all is well if you don't like that. Find an affirmation. But here's the thing about affirmations. You have to believe it. If you're like, oh, I'm going to do an affirmation that, okay, let's say, because this is an easy one, that I'm going to be wealthy tomorrow. Oh, wealth is around you. Wealth is here. Well, and you don't truly believe it. You might as well not be saying it, because it's actually going to make you feel worse. So find an affirmation that you love. There is peace in every moment. You could use all is well. You could use a variation of, I am safe. I don't know. I can't really think if anyone has any other ones they like to use. Please put them in the chat or unmute and share them. But affirmations can be really powerful to help us calm ourselves. And again, I always like to say, take a deep breath, say my affirmation, and then just relax with that affirmation, with the energy of the affirmation. Oh, and did you guys know that Pluto is doing its final rotation? It takes 248 years to rotate the sun. So the last time Pluto did this was in 1776. the year America was born. Guess what? That wasn't an easy birth. I think there was a lot of turmoil. So we have to remember, and this is another thing to remember, change does not feel good. Change feels awkward. It feels icky sometimes, but it's important. In order to get where we need to be, we have to change. You could not be where you are today if you never changed. Like, let's say you graduated high school and you never changed. You would not be where you are right now. You would be stuck. And you would probably be a really unhappy person, because a lot of times the things we go through that are the hardest in our life, on the other sides are the happiest times of our life. So we just have to remember, yes, change is happening. And for Pluto to pop back up, 248 years later, oh my gosh, that is a big deal. So there is going to be, Pluto brings change too. Pluto brings a lot of upheaval. Pluto says, hey, this isn't working out, so you guys need to fix it. So we're going to have a lot of change. We got to be patient in our change. We've got to be patient with ourselves, patient with each other. But how do we do that if we're feeling really stressed out? So let's say the meditation music isn't working, the affirmations aren't working. We could try the breath. Again, the breath that I like is breathing in through your nose and deeply. Expand your belly, hold for a minute, and then slowly breathe out your mouth. Now that is, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. I think Stanford did a study. It's a very effective breathing technique. There's also the 4 square. So you breathe in for 4, breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, in 2, 3, 4. So that's the square breath. You can do that. Oh, Claudia says, she always uses for her affirmation, I often use I am or you are blessed. And that's a really good one because we're all blessed. We're here, we're blessed. That's an easy one. Thank you, Claudia, for saying that, because that's a really great affirmation. So using your breath, what's another really good breathing one? There is, and if you're one of our students, you can do Joshin Kokyo-ho breath that we do here on these calls. We breathe in, we ignite the light, our true, beautiful, original light at our belly, and we expand that light, and we expand that light out. There's many different ways. For me, again, there is something when you're breathing in and you're breathing out through your mouth that helps you to start to calm down. And again, scientifically proven, you only need like 4 or 5 of these breaths to help you. But let's say, okay, none of this is working. You're completely stressed out. It's not working for you. What can you do? So some of you know this, some of you don't know this. I went through a horrific divorce. And I say horrific not because my ex was horrific. What happened was we were married for 20 years. We had a normal, and I say normal because, of course, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, we had the perfect marriage. It was great. And then all of a sudden this happened. We had a normal marriage. There were ups, there were downs, but it was a very solid marriage. My ex-husband was a very solid person. He was an executive chef. He was creative. He was amazing. He was always very calm, very solid, very centered. And we were in Silicon Valley. And in Silicon Valley, you can get drugs from your neighbor. You don't have to go to some seedy drug dealer. Drugs are really big in Silicon Valley because a lot of the tech people, they microdose, which means they take tiny bits of meth, of LSD, of acid, of marijuana, of mushrooms. Mushrooms are big. So my ex-husband was working like 16 hours a day. It was horrible. He was the executive chef at this very high-end retirement home where you had to have like $1 million to even get in. And there was a lot of pressure. And he started to microdose meth, which I found out later. We were in Sunnyvale, California, which is part of Silicon Valley. And meth got popular with soccer moms in Silicon Valley because they wanted more energy. So I thought that was really interesting. And that was like in the 90s. But so here we are. He started microdosing. I didn't know. And then there's this horrible thing happened at his work. It wasn't his fault. And there was just this big blow up. So he's let go. And he starts doing meth. And I don't know it. All I know is he's changing. And it becomes really horrific because people on meth are crazy and you can't reason with them. And my husband went from this incredibly reasonable person to this incredibly unreasonable person. And I was like, oh my God. Then he took off with a homeless meth addict. And he started to like drain our bank accounts taking her to resorts that he would take me to. And so I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. I am like literally in a cyclone of anxiety, stress. I'm vomiting. I am like, oh my God. And I'm having to do these things like pull money. You can't close an account that someone is on. You have to pull all the money out. The bank will let you pull all the money out, but they won't let you take that person off the account. So I had to pull all our money out of our accounts, rearrange it. I mean, it was so freaking stressful. I mean, literally. And at the time, I was working for a billionaire. And when you work for a billionaire in their private office, like it's their family, it's called a family office, you have to go through an insane amount of security to even get the job. I had to be interviewed by the FBI. I mean, it is crazy insane, right? So here is this meth addict husband, and he's acting crazy, and he's threatening me, and he's threatened me at work, and I have to tell work. I have to go into security and say, yes, this is happening. And they have to put his picture up on the wall with, I'm just like, oh my God, this isn't my life. This is not my life. I am going crazy. But how I got through this is every single day I would wake up. I mean, because I would wake up bawling. I would wake up and I would play something funny. I would have either, there was a show that I really liked. It was called Playing House. And these women always made me laugh. Or I would watch a comedian that made me laugh and get out of my head. I would make myself laugh every single morning before I would go to work or before I'd start my day. I would make myself laugh because by laughing, I could help kind of clear out some of this horrible heaviness. And it wasn't like throughout the day. I mean, it was the most horrific. I think it only lasted 6 months, but felt like 10 years. Every day was another day in hell. And thankfully, my ex-husband is all better now and everything's fine. And he's not on drugs and he's thriving and all that great stuff. And that's good for him. But at the time, he was horrible. He wasn't even the person that I knew. And then to top it off, because he was the person he was when I was married to him for 20 years, because he was completely honest, completely just this rock of a person, he started to tell my family and my friends on Facebook that I was on drugs. And of course, they believed him because he is someone that doesn't lie. So people are thinking that I'm on meth. Of course, I'm losing weight because I'm not eating during all this crisis. And they're like, yep, she's on meth because look how skinny she is. I was just like, oh my God, you guys, this was horrible. It was like, and it's on Facebook. And when he took up with the meth addict, he put it all over Facebook. So some of our friends that we hadn't seen in years are like, oh, I'm so happy for you, Jeremy. Oh, this is wonderful. Blah, 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 blah. I was just like, oh my God. But again, the way I got through it is I would make myself laugh and I would play music, and not meditation music. I would play whatever music would make my heart feel good. I would play like, I don't know, like some kind of silly pop music, right? That just makes you want to dance. Like I'm too sexy for my whatever, something like that, or 80s, like B-52s or something. I would do stuff like that because that was the only way I could really get myself out of this hell that I was in. And I was in the biggest, deepest pit of hell you could possibly imagine. But I couldn't let it affect me. I knew that if I let this get on top of me, I would drown. I would not survive it. I mean, I probably would have committed suicide or something. I could not handle what was happening to me. So of course I reached out to all my friends, like Kelly, Kathleen, and all my other friends to send me Reiki, which they did, which was very helpful. But for me, myself, when I'm home alone, and I have to get through this, I would do everything I could. Just listen to comedy, playing music that made my heart happy, watching happy movies, doing anything to keep my mind off it. And of course, playing with my dogs. And that was another reason why I had to be on top of my pain, was because I had 2 dogs at home. And I was also babysitting dogs. I was also watching dogs for friends during that time too. It was just when I worked for the billionaire, we could bring dogs to work. And some times people would be like, oh, can you keep my dog overnight or whatever that was. And I love dogs. So of course I did. But so I was with these dogs and I couldn't be in this horrible, gross, icky energy. And that's not to say I didn't wake up like that. I did wake up like that. And sometimes going to sleep, I would start to feel that way, but I would do things to help myself get on top of it. So I'm telling you guys that if you're feeling really dark, if you're feeling really ick, watch comedy. I mean, there's a great comedian right now, Nate Bargatze, I think his name is. It's like Brtagze. And he's so clean and he's so funny. And even when I was driving back from, I had to drive from Reno to Portland a couple weeks ago. And it's an icky drive for like, I don't know, like a good half of it, a good 5 hours is like just deserty crap. And I don't like the desert. And I had to drive alone and I just didn't feel safe. So I put on Nate. And I just listened to his stand-up comedy and his podcast and, and a funny book. And it just helped me. I can't even really remember the drive as being anything but fun because I could listen to comedy. And comedy can really help you to just kind of step away from what you're going through. And then also listening to just really music that wants to make you dance, whatever that is, then play that. And so Claudia says, and Claudia, you can unmute. What helps me is playing Don't Stop Me. Claudia, unmute for a minute. Oh my God, that's so funny. I love that.
Yeah, I usually sometimes when I wake up feeling down a bit, I can't sing for crap, but I would just say, it's a beautiful day, the sun is shining, and then I'll start, and it instantly works. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
So I can recommend it to anyone, even if you're not a Queen fan, it works.
It does. It does. There's so many songs out there. Like there's this really silly one by Hoku. It's in Legally Blonde and it's called Perfect Day. And it's like the best song for getting up in the morning and you're going to have a perfect day, right? And I love it. Thank you so much, Claudia. I love that so much. But if anyone else, so I want to, we're already halfway in. Mary Ellen says a Sesame Street song. What song is that? I don't know if you can unmute. Mary Ellen, I don't know what the Sesame Street song is. Is it like, oh my God.
Sunny day.
Oh yeah.
Taking the clouds, da, 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 on my way to where the air is sweet.
Can you tell me how to get Oh my God. And then Anne.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Thank you. I love that, Mary Ellen. And then Anne says, Tom Petty won't back down yet. That's another really good one. Elaine says she loves Perfect Day too. I know it's such a silly song, but it's so good. Oh, I can see clearly now. Jill says, yes, definitely. Right. I love that one. Or Sunshiny Day. I like that one too. There's so many, but you can see like, even as we're putting them in the chat, and if you have some, please, or just unmute yourself and come in and talk. And then, oh, Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Oh my God, yes. There's my 80s, ladies. Yes, we love 80s had so many happy songs. I mean, come on, B-52s alone had like every song is, I mean, who doesn't love rock?
Oh yeah, Love Shack.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's fun to rock out to. I'm trying to think of the one of theirs that's really like uplifting that you just can't, you got to smile.
Well, Quiche Lorraine is one of my favorite, and Rock Lobster my favorite. But Carolyn Drew says, "Don't worry, be happy." That's another really good one, Carolyn. I love that. Exactly. Think of all these songs that will help you to when you're thinking about the election, or you're thinking about the wars, or you're thinking about your bills, or whatever that is. Just put something on that's going to make you happy. That's going to kind of clear the clouds away. It's not going to change everything, but what it's going to do is it's going to make you get into that better space. Because again, and I use care because it's such a great example. When your energy is calm and zen-like, it bleeds out, and then other people pick up on it. It's just like when you go out and you smile at someone and they smile back. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. And then they go and they smile at someone, and that makes them feel good. And then they go. And so your one smile can trigger like 1,000 smiles that day. you have the power to create such a beautiful, peaceful energy in so many different people just with a smile. So Dawn says the old saying, laughter is the best medicine. Exactly. When I'm feeling down, I remind myself someone has it worse than me. Then I wish them well. I also listen to the Charlie Brown theme song. Oh my God. And Phenomena. Na, 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 from the Muppets. Oh my God. Love that.
Happy.
Exactly. Phenomena. Which one? I'm sorry, what, Elaine?
Well, I heard it's happy. It's in the chat. And at first I was thinking, don't worry, be happy. But yeah, that's already.
Oh, Happy by
Oh,
Pharrell Williams. Yes. Yes. Another really good one. There are so many songs. Like if you stop and think about it, make yourself a playlist. The Sound of Sunshine. Oh, by Michael Franz. Yeah. And Spearheart. Thank you, Kelly. Yes. That is another good one. See, there's so many songs, you guys. And already, as you're thinking of them, you get happier. You get happy just thinking of it. Like Claudia, when she was thinking, oh, my Queen song, this is my go-to, or me with my perfect day. You know, it's this, that is my go-to. And it's such a great way to shift yourself. So make a playlist, like go on there, add the Muppets to your playlist, add the Phenomena song. I mean, that song is so freaking cute. You can't even say it without smiling. So you're going to help yourself get out of that trench of despair. If I can do it with all of the crap that I had to go through, it was so horrifying, you guys. It was the most horrific time of my life. But here's the thing about that. It's just like, because it goes in with our little Pluto coming back and creating chaos. There were things that weren't working for both my husband and me personally, right? Not because of each other, but there had to be a break. There had to be an explosion. There had to be something. And if you don't listen to the signs, the universe will say, well, you're not really listening to the signs, so we're going to blow your world up. And you're like, oh, crap. Sometimes that happens. And when it does, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel down. So like, let's say you have something that is really horrific that has happened to you. So like for Kelly, so Kelly couldn't be here today because her cat Bo, and I ask that you all keep her sweet little cat Bo in your Reiki sessions and in your just thoughts of love and support. Her cat Bo has a heart issue, and so she's taking it to a specialist in Boston today, so she couldn't be here. But when we were talking about it, she said, I just had to cry one day. I just had to cry the day I found out about this. I had to cry all day. I said, of course. When something crappy happens to you, don't try, when people go, well, you know what, it's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Yes, I will be fine. Like recently, and I can't remember what I was so upset about. I was talking to my good friend, Mary, and I was upset. And she goes, you're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And I'm like, Mary, back off. I know it's going to be fine. I'm the queen of this. I need one day. I need one day to cry and be upset and to feel frustrated. And then I'll go through it. And I did. You kind of have to, yes, Jill says feelings are a fact. We have to acknowledge, I don't feel good about this. Makes me sad. This makes me feel angry. I mean, it wasn't like with Jeremy, it was every day. I was like, oh, well, this is going to be fine. I would cry and go, okay, pick yourself up, put your big girl boots on, put on your music, watch a comedian. We're going to get through this day. You've got to allow yourself the space to feel angry because you don't want to discount your feelings. You don't want to hide your feelings. You want to have your voice, especially for women. We can't sit there and push down our feelings. We have to be able to say, yeah, this is happening to me. Let me do this. Let me get upset about this. Let me be angry. And then tomorrow will be another day. The most important thing is, and this is where the magic of the precepts lies, right? Is that we are going to get mad. We're going to get worried, but do we hang on to it? Are we going to hang on to it? And the answer is no, don't hang on to it, because what happens when you hang on to it, you get sick. Your body starts to get affected by it, right? You start to affect the others in your world, like your animals. Most importantly, your animals. Remember how sensitive they are. And if you're there just falling apart every single day, they feel that and they feel frustrated because what can they do? They start to get nervous and neurotic because they don't know how to make you feel better. And I saw that with my dogs. I saw them like coming up to me, licking my face. It's okay. It's okay. And I was like, whoa, 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 I've got to get on top of this because they're feeling responsible for me and I don't want that for them. So I had to really get on top of it. And I think that they were really the reason why I found all these things. And so I just want to go back to the chat for a minute. So Kelly says, another great song, going back to the songs, The Sound of Sunshine by, sorry, we already read that one. This is so timely. This is Kelly again. My sister is going through it right now and coming to spend a few days. We will definitely be creating a playlist for her. Yes. Oh my gosh. What great timing, Kelly. Yes. Watch funny movies. Watch Nate Bargatze. I mean, he's my sense of humor. I love him so much. I think he is so funny. He hosted Saturday Night Live a couple weeks ago, and my mom reached out and she said, oh my gosh, I love this guy. I've never heard of this guy. And I'm like, oh my God, Nate. I love Nate. So he's really clean and he's really great. But yes, Kelly, definitely build your sister up by comedy and good music and fun. Because the one thing when you're going through shit, the one thing you don't want your friends doing is going, what are you going to do? Oh my gosh, this is really awful. How are you surviving? And it's like, oh my God, I don't need that. So the people I kept in my little small world were my friends who were like, screw this. We're going to play music. We're going to go have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to watch funny movies. We're going to talk about funny things. And those are the people that built me up. I remember for my 50th, it was right happening around my 50th birthday, and I had rented a beach house and I had 3 friends come and visit me. And the whole time was 1 week of just laughing hysterically. So hard, my stomach hurt so bad. And my stomach was really nice and tight too, because we were laughing so hard for a whole week. And it was right at the end of when this was all like starting to go away. And I cannot tell you enough, Kelly, how important it is to not focus on what's wrong, but focus on what's right and happiness. And that's a lesson that we have with animals. Animals show us that all the time. They don't want us to come and go, oh my gosh, you have mange. Oh my gosh, you've been in the shelter a really long time. What's going to happen? They don't want that. They want us to come in and go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here with you. Oh my gosh, we're going to meditate. Oh my gosh, let's go out for a walk. That's what they need. And that's what we need when we're in crisis. We don't need someone telling us, oh, that's really sad. So Elaine said, oh yeah, Katrina and the waves walking on sunshine. That's a really great one. And then Mary Ellen Shaw said, oh, what a beautiful morning from Oklahoma. Oh my God. Mary Ellen, I love that. Don't even think about. There's songs that maybe are like just songs that you might have forgotten about. So you can go on Spotify and click on happy music. Oh, another one I love is Cherry Cherry by Neil Diamond. Love that song. And so that's another one that gets me happy. So, but when we're talking about ourselves and we're talking about anxiety, right? And let's just wrap this up in a nice little bow, is that we've got to do things to help ourselves. One last one. Danger by the Monkeys. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. So powerful songs. And also what a song can do is remind you of your own personal power, right? You can have your own personal power song. I used to have one and I can't remember what it was, but I used to play one and I wish I could remember. But this is the good thing here's another good thing about going through trauma, but you're going through it by listening to comedy, by playing music, by meditating, by doing all the things. And you got to do a bunch of things. It's not just one thing. It's a bunch of things. But what happens when you do those things, when you can bring joy into traumatic times, you switch the narrative. So yes, that was a really traumatic time that I went through. I'm not going to say it was easy. It wasn't. But I can look back on that and go, yeah, I'd do that again. I would do it again because of what I got out of it. I would do it again to realize how strong I am. I would do it again to realize the people that were really, really important in my life, who really stood up for me, who came to my rescue in so many different ways. You realize who your friends are, who your true friends are in times of trauma. So for when you're going through something, or even just like something like the elections, remind yourself, you can find joy and laughter in every single moment. And this is another thing animals show us. If you ever, like an animal, even children too, an animal that's been abused or an animal that's being abused doesn't sit and is depressed the entire time. You can bring joy to that animal just by coming and being happy. It's just like with me, like if I was feeling really dark and down and I call a friend, I remember talking, I think it was Kathleen, I was crying so hard when I called her, I couldn't even talk. And thank God, you know, she knew who it was and was able to help me kind of clear that. And this was like right when it very first started. But there is light in the darkness. And that's something that is really important to remember, that we can bring light to dark times. It's just because something is dark doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. It doesn't mean that things are going to stay the same and it's going to be horrible forever. It doesn't. Things change all the time. It just means that something is coming to the surface and you need to work through it. And change is hard, but it creates inner strength. And again, I would go through that horrible, dark time again, and I don't think I would really change anything. I was getting so much advice from people. This is another thing. Be careful with your advice. You know, be empathetic. Be there. Be empathetic to the person and let them know that you're there if you want to help people through dark times, but don't try to give your own advice, because your advice is coming from your perspective. And it's really important not to judge. And even now, like I think about the election, right? No matter what side you're on, there's no right or wrong. Whoever wins, we're going to have 4 years with that person, but that's it. Just 4 years. And that'll be it. And then something will change again. Change always happens. Who knows? Change could happen in a year. Change could happen in 2 years. Change could happen in 6 months with the election. We don't know. Anything is possible. So always just keeping that ray of light within you. Remember, we all have a beautiful light within us. It is our own original light, is the light you are born with. This is you, right? So quantum physics proves that we're all connected. We're not connected by our egos, by like, you know, like, so I'm going to pick on Trump, and it's not that I'm for or against Trump. I'm just going to say he is a polarizing figure, right? And so we can look at Trump, and if you hate Trump, you could say, oh, I am not connected to that person. But you're connected to him at his heart center. Who he is at his heart isn't who you see. We all are good at our heart. And so we have to remember that we're all connected at our heart. And if we can focus at our heart, focus at that beautiful light within us and share light with others, no matter how dark it looks, we can create change. But again, going back to it, if you're feeling really frustrated and like, I can't create change, I'm feeling too frustrated, then listen to great music. Listen to comedy. I'm huge on comedy. Oh my gosh, I'm so big on comedy. So I want to, I'm going to change this to gallery view really fast. And I want to, and oh, Heidi is here. Heidi, I know you joined and I haven't seen you in forever. So welcome. Hello, Lisa. And hello, Monica. We always love to see Monica. So if anyone has anything to share about how they're dealing with anxiety or anything, if you just want to ask a question, please just unmute and share. And Vanna, hello. I don't see it in order. If you turn on your video, then it's out of order. So hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So does anyone have anything they want to share or just contribute? Yes, Emily.
This morning I saw an interview with Stevie Nicks, and she has this song out called Lighthouse. And whether or not you go with her politics on it, she said, whatever happens in this election, we have to remember that we're the lighthouse, and we have to shine for other people and help them through the darkness. And I take that as being a voice for the unvoiceless, like animals and the earth too.
Yes, I love that, Emily. Thank you so much, because, and I know you're a Let Animals Lead student, because in level 2, you learn the lighthouse meditation. So in level 1, you learn the healing bridge, but in level 2, you learn that lighthouse. So again, you are the light for others who may not have any choice or may be helpless. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. That's such an important message, you guys, that we have a responsibility. And T had to leave. I want to think about her. But anyone else want to share? And it doesn't have to be on topic. You can, yeah, Jill.
Yeah, so I had, about a year ago, I had brain surgery. And I mean, I'm fine. I had a benign tumor removed, but I cannot tell you how dark it was for me. because when you operate in your brain, it really affects, your well-being. And I could only stay up till like 6 o'clock at night, but I did what you did. I would get my iPad in bed and I'd watch John Candy movies or Sandra Bullock movies. And it really helped me get through a really, really tough time.
I love that. I love that so much because I know, Jill, you probably have read that too. Like people have helped cure their cancer by, doing laughter. You can help heal your body. That's why they say laughter is the best medicine. And like for you, I love that for you because who knows if that even helped you heal faster or, whatever that was for you. And I'm so glad you're here and you're healthy and strong.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jill. And lots of love to Jill for sharing that. I'm glad you're on your path. But yeah, and here Jill is, she's got probably one of the worst things that could happen to you, the worst diagnosis that could ever happen to you. And she's on top of it. She's like, okay, I'm going to watch John Candy movies. I love that. Yeah, Anne.
One thing that I wanted to share is, yes, I never listen to politics. I don't watch the news. I moved away from all that and I left it behind when I moved to Panama about a year ago. And I found a lot of peace with that, right? And so my friends and I, we don't talk about religion or politics in that way. It's kind of small talk-ish, which I don't like either because I like to go deep, but it keeps it peaceful that way. And so also, well, yesterday I went on to a comedian that I watch on Rumble. It's uncensored. And even though he's a comedian and he makes it sound so outlandish, I just wanted to share that just like in 15 minutes of listening to him speak about all this shit going on, because I have to rely on my friends to give me the news because I don't know what's going on. I really don't. And I'm glad. And it shifted my frequency yesterday. Like I could not quiet my mind down. It took a long time. It took a couple of meditations. And then I went to my subscriptions on YouTube because I really only have like motivational speakers, vibrational frequencies, meditations, breath work, stuff like that. And now I know it reminded me why that is so important to me, because just that one short period of time I was going nuts. So it gives me also a lot of compassion for people that watch that every day. My daughter works for an executive who during COVID had this on, and her office was right outside his, and her door was always open. She had to listen to CNN and MSN during COVID, like all this, what I call propaganda going on, for her to just down to the core cells in her body. She was carrying that with her every day. Right. And I think I would go nuts if I listened to regular news or dipped down in that regularly, so I'm grateful that I have music, I have comedy, I have those things that I can go to and I use them often. And it was a good reminder yesterday why I do that. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of have to be careful in your comedians because you got to make sure that your comedians are talking about stuff that's just like Jerry Seinfeld, right? That's Nate Borgetsky is like Jerry Seinfeld. He just talks about silly things like, his wife got mad because he had so much fun with his friends. And he said, I had to tell her I hang out with professional comedians. Of course we have fun, So he's talking about things like that, which are very relatable. And yeah, because exactly. And you can get a comedian that's talking about the politics and you're like, oh, this is not what I want to hear. This is stressful. So
no.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we have to be careful what we're putting into our hearts and our mind and also a really good litmus test for whether or not this is healthy for you. How does your heart feel? Like I know when I start watching the news, my heart starts going, faster. And I'm like getting stressed out because it's like, why are they saying this? And that is, then I'm like, oh no, get out of the room, just let it go, right? Because I can't change what's happening on the news in that moment, but I can change my own energy. And like what you were sharing, Jill, we have to watch our energy because it affects us. And I know you knew that. And that's why you were making yourself laugh, because we know our energy affects our bodies. and our energy affects our hearts, and our energy affects everyone around us. And most importantly, our animals. Our animals are what, and they don't have a choice. And I think, Emily was saying that, that's why we have to be the lighthouse, that we have to be that light and just let go. And it's hard. It's hard. That's why we have all these little tools. So we have a couple more minutes before we do our meditation. So does anyone else want to? Elaine, you unmuted yourself. Did you have something to share?
Oh, well, I was just going to say, do you remember, well, Mary Poppins was one where they used laughter, but Witches of Eastwick, were all, I don't know, thrown off the balcony or something, and they were going to go splat on the marble floor, but I think it was Cher I think it was Cher who kept saying, laugh, just laugh, just laugh.
Yes.
And they stopped rolling. Yeah.
Yes. That's a great movie for women, Witches of Eastwick.
It is a great movie for women, isn't it?
It really is, because we don't realize our power. And of course, it starts off with, oh, you have sexual power. Yes, of course. But you have deeper power than that. And just like the power of laughter, like we can change things. And we have to remember that, women, when we come together, especially in these beautiful sessions that we're doing together, we create the energy of change. We create so much change. I don't know if you remember when Trump was elected, there was a women's march in America, right? Because Trump was the president and they were marching against Trump because of the whole, the pussy thing. But what happened during the women's march, where there were millions of women around the world started to march against sexual harassment, right? So that's where the unity was. And there were millions of women around the world marching. Women affect economy. Look at Taylor Swift. She creates economies. These are powerful women. We all have that power, but we forget it. We get caught up in what we're being told, and we forget that we have immense inner power. Every human does. But as women, we are natural nurturers. And so when women step into their power, they create change, and they create positive change. So a lot of my business mentors are women. A lot of the women that I follow, business women, they're all making really wonderful, positive change. And they're all very positive women, right? They're not like, oh, well, I'm a woman and I have to do this. I mean, I run across women like that on Facebook who are doing marketing or whatever. And they have like that kind of like bitchy marketing, like, you don't have to take this and you can do it. And it's like, yes, you could do that. Or it's like, what is it? You get more flies with honey. You could be more, because we don't have to be harsh in order to be powerful. In fact, our power lies in our ability to be soft, to be kind, and to be loving. That is where our power lies. Because at the end of the day, people are bad when they don't feel loved, appreciated, or seen, right? You have to be seen, heard, and appreciated, loved. It's lack of love that causes people to do bad things. And so we have to share our love, even when you don't want to, even when you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like this person. We have to make sure that we're sharing this beautiful energy within us. We all have a beautiful light. And I'm here to say to you, the reason we're talking about this is because I want your light to shine. I don't want you to get stuck in the anxiety and the fear and the worry and the anger of what's going on in the outer world. I want you to feel encouraged and inspired by what change you can create, you alone. Again, a smile. Your one smile can ignite 1,000 smiles. So we always have to remember that. And I think we just had Alice just joined us. Hello, Alice. So just in time for the meditation. So now, does anyone have any more questions or comments before we go into our meditation? And then no. Oh, and then we have one more. Elaine said, Legally Blonde is a great women movie too. She goes from aspiring to be a swimsuit model to graduating from Harvard Law. It's so true. There's a lot of different women movies out there that are really powerful. And you know what? There's a lot of cartoons out there that are like SpongeBob. There's one about how he saves the crown. That's such a cute one. And it's all about staying in the positive, right? When you stay in the positive, you create change. You don't have to be like, I have to fix this. I have to get scared. I mean, SpongeBob went through the darkest, ugliest parts of the ocean, and he just did it with a little smile on his face and he got through. Or Finding Nemo, the same thing, like Merlin or Marlin was like all worried all the time, and Dory wasn't. And Dory was the one that really helped him to find his son, to help him get through all the dark times because of her attitude. Again, a woman teaching a man how to be more positive, right? And remember when in Finding Nemo, when they're hanging on to the whale's little tonsil, and she's like, just let go. And he's like, but how do you know nothing bad is going to happen? She's like, I don't. And so he just let go, because sometimes we have to. We just have to let go sometimes. So lots of different movies out there. So get your movie playlist, get your song playlist, and have a really happy time. So I'm going to do our meditation that I love to do, that where we're going to focus on our heart. And I was teaching an Animal Reiki for Reiki practitioners class before I jumped on here. And it was all about Honshaze Shonen, which is all about the light in our heart and how there really isn't any distance. We're not doing distant Reiki or distant any kind of energy work. We're all connected at our hearts. So we're going to focus on that energy at our heart and just beaming it out to the world. So get nice and comfortable. Bring your hands into prayer pose or gasho, and close your eyes to close out all outside distractions. And let's just take a couple deep breaths here, breathing in deeply through our nose, pulling our breath deep into our belly, expand your belly, and then slowly release your breath out your mouth. Just 2 more of those breaths. And with your out breath goes all stress and tension, anything that no longer serves you, leaves your body with your breath. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your breath to a natural, soft state, breathing in through your nose and breathing out either through your mouth or your nose, whichever is more comfortable. And let us set our intention that we're open to holding space for all who need support right now. And we're open to holding space for ourselves. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands face up or face down in your lap. And I just want us to focus on our breath, breathing in gently through our nose and pulling our breath into our belly. And when your breath hits your belly, imagine that there is a light, a small light at your belly. And when you breathe in, the light is ignited by that breath touching it. And on the out breath, the light grows bigger and starts to expand. So breathing in, our breath touches the light, and breathing out, our out breath expands the light. Now, this light can be any color you see. It can be white or gold or purple. This is your own unique, beautiful healing light that the animals connect to. And just envision the light growing brighter and brighter in your body until it fills every cell of your being. You are illuminated in your own beautiful light. Now, I'd like you to bring your focus to your heart and just focus on the feeling of love at your heart. Maybe it helps to think about a person or an animal that embodies love for you. Maybe it's just something that brings you joy. For me, it's bunnies. I think about bunnies and I feel love and I feel light and I feel joy. So whatever that is for you, just focus on that feeling as you breathe in and out. And imagine the feeling of love joining this beautiful bright light of yours. And as you breathe in and out, feel the love within you expanding out until you're completely enveloped in light and love. This is who you are at your core. This is who you are, your true being, your true self. You are a loving person who spreads love and light wherever they go. And envision yourself like the sun. And the rays of your love and your light start to shine out in all directions around you. Everywhere your love and light touches, see it being illuminated. See your light bringing comfort to those in need. See your light bringing joy to those who are sad. See your light bringing comfort. Your light is limitless. You are limitless. And as you breathe in and out, feel your light expanding further and further out, bringing light and love to the earth, to places where there's darkness. Your light is like a warm hug. And when your light shines on animals, feel your light growing brighter. Animals mirror our love and light back to us. They show us that this is the way to be in the world, to shine your light bright and strong, and not to let anything darken it. And just sit for a moment and allow yourself to feel love, to feel lightness, to feel joy. Now bring your attention to your breath and feel your breath coming in and out of your body. Bringing your awareness back to yourself, to your physical self, and bring your hands into the prayer pose, into Gasho. And set your intent that although we are ending this meditation, that you are intending for your light and your love to shine bright throughout your day and into your night. That you set your intent to smile and share your love with all you meet today. Let us give thanks for all who joined us. And let us give thanks to ourselves for being here and being open to this beautiful practice and this beautiful meditation. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. And I hope that you all enjoyed that. And I want to show you really quickly. I know that some people left, but I'm going to take off my shirt here. Da, 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 da. I just want to show you guys. So this is the Let Animals. Oh, here, let me go to, I just want to make sure, get back on speaker. So this is a Let Animals Lead shirt, but it's sea creatures. So it's a woman who is in a little scuba shirt, and then she's got an octopus, a whale, a dolphin, and it's Let Animals Lead with marine animals. So we are doing our All Is Well shirt right now. I encourage everybody to get one if you can't. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I encourage you to get a shirt. But in a couple weeks, we're going to be releasing a store that has this shirt and the cat shirt and the traditional Let Animals Lead, and then Unleash the Peace with dogs. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Monica. And Monica, if you can stay on, I don't know if Monica is still here. Monica, if you can stay on, I need to ask you something really quickly. But you can get these shirts in a couple weeks because we're opening up the World Animal Reiki Day shirt, because a lot of people, if you want to celebrate World Animal Reiki Day with us, we have a lot of really fun things planned for you guys. You can get a World Animal Reiki Day shirt. And but if you're like not wanting one of our All Is Wells, which I really hope you get because they're really great shirts and they last forever. They're super, super soft and we have some great colors. But if you're like, hey, I really want the classic, we are going to open that up in 2 weeks. I'm telling you guys, it's not something that we're announcing, but I am telling you guys, if you're like, I really want a shirt, because I know, Anne, you mentioned that I really want a shirt. I don't necessarily want All Is Well. It's totally fine. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So you guys, this is coming. Oh, and then Claudia says, got the pink zip-up hoodie. Yes. Nice. Yes, we have zip-up hoodies now. I have to grab one of those. So yes, and thank you so much, Monica. Yes, it was a great session. Thank you all for your energy, for your spirit, for everything you bring to these calls, because this isn't just me. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yes. got to grab ourselves a shirt. And yes, we're going to be releasing these. But thank you all for just being here. Your energy helps these calls be so powerful. It's not just me. Yes, I'm sharing some information, but it's all of you and your beautiful energy and your beautiful shares. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys, and have a beautiful week. Mwah. And I will talk to you next week. Well, we have Biomusic 1 coming. Okay, so I didn't even talk about this. I don't know why I didn't. Biomusic is so freaking effective. I went to the beach with my dogs. I have a 4-year-old dog. She hears everything because she's young. Oh my God, she was driving me crazy. I think we played the Kinema album. Completely calm. My nephew, 18 years old, completely anxious, was throwing up. I had to take him driving when he had to go to his college interview. And I didn't even know. I was like, crap, he's going to be vomiting the whole time. Played Kinema, boom. Just fell asleep, got up, felt better. It is magic. And so John Louis is going to be here next week. We're going to do a completely interactive session. He's not going to talk all about, because last time he talked, I think, for about an hour. And this time he's not. We're going to go straight into meditations with music. And I think he has 3 sessions. So sit there with your animals. If you don't have animals, not a big deal. Just be open to the power of this music. It is really effective. And we're getting lots of testimonials. I think that Eileen Queely, who's on these calls sometimes, she has a dog with dementia. And you know how they get, I can't remember what that's called, something like night somethings. But anyway, her dog gets up at night and is really loud. And they started playing this album, the Kinema, I think it was, and completely at peace. And she said she didn't want to believe, Sundowners, yes, thank you, Kelly. She didn't want to believe that it was the music, but she said, it's the music. Because you know what? It's hard to go, really, can music really do this? Can music be that powerful for animals and us? And it is. So next week.
We can ask questions though too, right?
Yes, you'll be able to ask. So we're going to do 3 sessions, and then we're going to have a Q&A at the end. I think he's going to stay for an hour and a half, but even if it goes over, he's really generous.
Because I'm curious, I've just found out about binaural beats.
Oh, binaural beats. Yes, I listen to those all the time.
Yeah, okay. So I am listening. There's Moongate, there's Enora, there's another one. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. These ones actually are a little bit different. They are
like what's the difference? You know,
and he'll be able to
binaural good for one thing and
yeah, I mean,
biomusic good for something else, or
they all are working on the same kind of frequency, but I think with the biomusic 1, it's a deeper frequency. There's something that they've done tons and tons of scientific research on it.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's a little bit different than binaural, because I play binaural beats from, with my dogs, and it doesn't really necessarily calm them like the biomusic.
No, they are helping me sleep.
Yeah.
Helping me focus. I mean, I'm sure I have ADD. I was just in the wrong generation to be diagnosed, but my focus is better anyway.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. And I'll see you next week with Jean-Louis. Yeah, so excited. And in the meantime, have a beautiful week. And remember, don't get stressed, because when I see you next, for you Americans, the election will be over. It's going to be really important for you to show up and bring some peace into your body, because no matter what happens, there will probably be some stressful times ahead. So just show up, be here, and be open to this beautiful, beautiful technique. Yay. All right. Love you all. Bye.